But we are going to get now an Australian perspective, which we'll do right now.
Love Sport Breakfast with Richard Lee and Patrick Christys.
Neighbours, everybody needs good neighbours with a little understanding.
England have beaten their biggest rivals to reach the Cricket World Cup final. They got past Australia by 8 wickets at Edgbaston. They'll now play New Zealand for the title at Lord's on Sunday. Australian captain Aaron Finch says his side were definitely second best.
All in all, we were just totally outplayed, to be honest, all throughout the day. So you look back at that and you can analyse each 10 overs, but just outplayed.
Joining us now is Australian cricket commentator Paul Dennett. Morning, Paul.
Morning, guys. Yeah, how you going?
We're good. We're going to be very, very sensitive this morning. We're not going to gloat at all.
Did you think that was quite tactfully done with that introduction? Did that feel nice? Did it just coming into the Neighbours theme tune? I think we've got Home and Away loaded up next, which is fantastic. Anyway, look, what did you make of yesterday's game?
Well, I agree with Aaron Finch. It was just a colossal thrashing. England were magnificent. I don't think Australia were at their best, but they weren't that bad. I just think England were superb. I watched the game live on a big screen in a pub in central Sydney, and one by one my mates all went home, and at the end it was me and 30 or 40 English guys there. So yeah, it was not the greatest night of my sports watching life.
No, was it? I mean, obviously dreadful start for Australia. First 6-7 overs just couldn't have gone any worse. Really, was there any way back after that?
I suppose when Carey and Smith were batting, that some of us were starting to hope. In hindsight, I don't think the damage was probably already done, because the way that England came out and chased, they probably could have scored many, many more than they needed to. But when Smith and Carey were batting really, really well, I thought maybe there's a chance here. I thought that Carey was amazing, getting hit in the jaw and catching the helmet before it landed on the stumps. And really, the only bad shot he played in the whole tournament was when he got out trying to loft Rashid out of the park. From that point on, I really started to lose all hope.
Yeah, and then obviously when England did come into bat, Jason Roy and Johnny Best obviously got them off to the perfect start.
Yeah, that was the last chance to lose. I was hoping that if Stark could have the ball hooping all over the place, if some magic could happen, then maybe there was still a chance. But they were just classy. That they just first few overs they didn't try too much, and then they put the foot down, and it was all one way. And that six that Roy hit off Steve Smith, which went 101 metres, hit the grandstand and came back, and Glenn Maxwell caught it one-handed. That was certainly a wonderful moment for England.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously looking forward, got the Ashes ahead. Is it a little bit of worry for Australia, this result going into the Ashes?
Well, I think what it shows is, once again, that Australia don't like it when the ball's moving about. And they're going to be back at Edgbaston in 2.5 weeks' time, and the difference is it won't be a friendly white Kookaburra ball. It'll be the Duke ball, and it'll be Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad. So the positive for Australia was, of course, Steve Smith. I mean, I think that in difficult conditions he batted extraordinarily well. And Carey, the way he played, I'd consider having him in the side even as a specialist batsman.
Would you really? Yeah, he was that good for you?
Well, his record in first-class cricket isn't especially great, but to me, just throughout this entire tournament, he has seemed, along with Smith, when the conditions have been tough, they have been the two that have really handled the difficult conditions. And I just have, I'd take a punt on him and say it's not as though we've got a huge amount of class in our batting lineup at the moment. I think he'd be as good as anyone.
Great stuff. Look, do appreciate you coming on. Like I say, Paul, obviously not an easy time for you, and of course we've been very sensitive on this show from start to finish in regards to this result.
Yeah, what is the Aussie press actually saying? Are they calling for a clear out or anything like that, or are they just being quite measured about it?
They are actually being quite measured. I think that there still is a feeling here that 6 months ago, if you'd said Australia were going to be beaten semi-finalists in the World Cup, we'd have said that was probably performing higher than expectations. So the way that the side came together, we sort of had started to dream, and the dreams were crushed ruthlessly last night. Yeah. But stepping back, I don't think there's going to be a massive call for heads. There will be a little bit, but reasonably measured.
Great stuff. Paul, thank you very much for joining us. That's Paul Dennett there, Australian cricket commentator, licking his wounds today.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, you almost feel sorry for them, don't you? The Australia, almost. Yeah, not quite. Just like a little bit sorry. Yeah. But I wish we could just have that playing on repeat all day, every day.